everybody. My name's Carrie. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I am recording on December 28th, 2022. We are almost done with the year. Christmas and the holidays have passed, and now we're in that in-between stage before New Year's. So I thought I'd do one last recording of some of the things over, that I've made for the holidays and just what I've been up to the last few weeks. And then we start the new year. So that's always kind of exciting. It's kind of like a fresh start. I don't make resolutions, but I do try and kind of have a goal of like something I maybe want to accomplish. And, always on the list is eating better, exercising more, all that kind of stuff. That's always top of the list. I have to detox right now from all the crap that I ate over the Christmas holiday. So I have to do like a sugar detox, that kind of thing. And then we start off the new year. So hopefully you all had a nice holiday. We here in the United States had a pretty major cold snap, storm, blizzard in some areas, kind of a thing that happened just over the holiday time. Here in Oregon, we had ice. We didn't get snow, but everything got iced up. We had freezing rain. And we go away at over the Christmas holidays. Me, Jim and myself, my son, his husband, our dogs, we go away. We spend the holiday just together, hanging out, playing games, watching movies, just chatting and hanging out. So the storm was supposed to hit the day we were leaving. And so we were really, really watching the weather, like trying to find websites that gave us hour by hour, because we had to get to the coast, and the coast is a couple of hours away from here, and we have to go up and over the Coast Range, which on the highway we go on, I think the highest point is about 1,500 feet. It's not super high, but it's densely forested, and so it doesn't get any sunlight if there is any, and because you get the moisture from the coast, things get icy. And when you're talking freezing rain, the highway is very curvy and up and down. They'll just shut it down. Last year we generally go to the coast, but so last year we were at the coast and we were having snow at sea level, which is very unusual. And we left a day early because a storm was coming in and we didn't want to get stuck over there. And so we left a day early. About 2 hours after we got on this side of the mountains, they closed the highway. So we would have been stuck over there, and we didn't. And this year the storm was hitting before Christmas, and we were concerned we weren't going to be able to get over there. We knew once we were over there, it was going to only be a few days of this cold weather, and then things were going to warm up. So we knew once we were there, we weren't going to get stuck there. So we watched the time. I got on a website that gave weather hour by hour for like the harbor and stuff like that for boats, and I thought that was pretty accurate. They kept changing it. At first it was like not going to come in until about 4. Now it's 3. Now it's 2. We're like, we better go. So check-in in this house, we rented a house, was not till 4 o'clock. I tried to get early check-in, but they said that somebody was renting it up until the day we showed up. So it depended on if the cleaner was able to get the house clean. And if she could, we'd get in early. But we thought, you know what? We just need to get over there, and then we'll figure it out. We'll just hang out, whatever, until we can get in the house. So we drove over, no problems, hardly anybody on the highway. There wasn't any precipitation. It was like all looking really good. We find the house, pull up in the driveway, and we could tell the car was there. The lady was cleaning the house. We're like, okay, we can't get in quite yet. 15 minutes later, the freezing rain started. So we really got there like just in time. So we just sat in the truck for like 2 hours, almost 3, about 2.5 hours we sat in the truck. And it's raining, and we're laughing, we're watching videos on phones, we're just chit-chatting and just kind of making it fun. And then everybody's got to go to the bathroom because we've been sitting there for so long. It was already a couple hours getting over there. And so it's like she's got to be getting close to letting us in. It's just about 4 o'clock. So Jim goes and he's like, can we just use the bathroom? She's like, yeah, I'm almost done. She was just trying really hard. And so we got out, we let the dogs go potty, did all that. And then we got cold because we've been in the truck and it was, raining and stuff. And so we're like, okay, just let's give her that 15 minutes, whatever. She comes out, she's like, apologizing, was very sweet. She goes, just be careful walking into the house because the deck that you walk on, it's icy. We're like, it is, because it just looked like it was raining. We thought, okay, this isn't going to be a big deal. It's just rain. Maybe it's not going to be cold enough or whatever. Well, because we were in the truck and our truck was warm and then we're in it warm, it didn't freeze on the truck. So the windshield wasn't getting frozen, none of that. But this lady's car was completely iced over. It looked like it was just wet. Jim had to help her scrape her windshield. The deck was all icy. We're like, we really did get here at the nick of time. Got all our crap in the house, got ourselves settled, and then we never left. So it was pretty stormy. Like that night was icy, and then it warmed up, and it was like over 50, almost 60 degrees. It warmed up considerably at the coast. Here, we could tell by our security cameras that our house and our street and everything was just iced over, and it stayed like that for a couple of days, but it was considerably warmer at the coast. So we just hung out. I got a lot of knitting done. Like I said, we played games, watched movies, and it was a fabulous time. The house we had this time was just perfect for us. Had windows across the whole back side of the house that overlooked the ocean. And so we didn't need to go anywhere. You just had lots of natural light. We're watching the storms, and it was just really, really nice. It went by really fast because we were just so relaxed and enjoying it so much. So Christmas holiday for us was very nice. So driving home, by the time we got home, everything here was melted. We had no problem getting home. But so we came home Monday. They were expecting, there was a high wind warning for the coast, and it was pretty windy that morning when we got up. Like, it was pretty gusty, and it ended up having a high wind warning even for here. And so come to find out, they lost power over there at the coast in the town we were in. So we would have had no power had we stayed. And so our timing was perfect. We got there right before everything froze up, and we left before the high winds came. So it was extremely windy and downpouring rain yesterday. I think we got about 3 inches of rain in a 24-hour period. And every once in a while, the wind would just hit the house, and you just thought, okay, it's like an Annie M thing. The house is going to start spinning in the sky. But we didn't lose anything. We didn't lose power, didn't lose any branches or trees or anything. So we were lucky, and we were set. So just had a wonderful vacation, and now it's time to get back to real life. Jim had to go to work today, and it's like back to the normal routine. So I've had this frog in my throat for the last couple days. I'm not sick, but I just kind of have this frog. So I don't know if that means I'm going to be getting sick or it's allergies. I'm not really sure. So excuse me for clearing my throat every once in a while. Okay, so let's talk about the quilt that's on the wall. I put that up just because I needed something up there. I have not been doing any sewing over the last few weeks. I did make some holiday gifts. I can only share one of them because a few people haven't gotten them yet because I haven't seen them, or they haven't gotten them yet. So I can't share everything. So I had nothing on the wall, which is just boring. So I put this one on. I have talked about it before. This was a quilt that I designed and made based off of a challenge from the Quilt Guild that I used to be a part of. The challenge was to use black, white, and one other color. You couldn't use shades of a color. You had to pick one color. So I thought, okay, black and white, what goes with that? Pretty much anything. And I wanted to kind of go out of my comfort zone, and I used yellow. It's kind of a goldish yellow. I don't generally work with that color much. I don't wear that color, so I thought, okay, that's going to be a good challenge to make something. So I designed this on EQ. I think I may have had 5 at the time. I can't remember. So it was a lot of fun to do. I did some really fun quilting on it. And so I thought, well, that kind of brightens it up for these gray days that we're going to be having, because now we're going into January and February, which are usually really gray. And So that'll brighten things up. I do need to get my button gear and get going on my quilt that I was working on. I kind of stalled out because of the paper piecing was feeling very fiddly. The way the pattern has you use the scraps and stuff, it was very time consuming trying to find the right scrap to fit the piece. And I'm like, I got to tackle that a little bit differently. So now that all the holiday makes are over with, I can concentrate on doing that again. So I got to pull all that crap back out. Sorry, I got to take a sip of water. I did make a gift that has been given to the recipient, so I can share it. I only have a picture of it, and I made the mock honeycomb cowl. So here is the pattern, and it is by Blue Mouse Knits. I got it on Ravelry. It calls for worsted weight. Yes. So it calls for worsted weight, which I didn't have. And so I decided to do it with 2 strands of fingering. So here is a picture of the finished cowl. I loved working on this. I think I may make one for myself. It was just a lot of fun to make, and I used a one-of-a-kind skein of fingering that I got from Barnyard Knits with an undyed skein of MCN, merino cashmere nylon, so that it gave it like a poofier feel and a softer feel, and I just think it turned out really well. I loved making it. I think it's really pretty, and the person I gave it to seemed to like it, so I think it will look beautiful on her. So that was a success. Now success was after a fail previously. I tried to make a double-stranded fingering weight to make the bandana cowl by Pearl Soho out of the same combination of yarn. Or no, I was doing 2 strands of the dyed fingering from Barnyard. And I got through the whole thing, made the whole thing, and then I thought, well, let me try this on before I cast off and cut the yarn and everything. And it was way too small. And I thought, well, I followed the directions, but I think because the 2 strands of fingering, each fingering was a kind of a light fingering, it didn't quite make worsted, so I ripped it out and decided to do this mock honeycomb cowl. And then that just turned out fluffier. I did the undyed MCN, which is a little bit thicker, and it just gave it a nice squish, and it was really good. So I basically knit her 2 cowls, but she got 1 because it just didn't work out. And that is really my only FO. No, that was my only FO for gift giving that I can share. I am all over the place. I thought I had my brain a little more organized. Anyway, so part of my Thursday night Zoom knit night group friends, they've done in the past a skein exchange, and this year I decided to participate. Is that a kid? I don't know. There's a kid in front of my house. Get off my lawn. Anyway, we got paired up with somebody randomly, and then the idea was to send them a skein from your stash and just do this skein exchange Secret Santa kind of thing. So I sent a skein of hand spun to my person, whom I'm assuming got it, and my fingers crossed she liked it, but I haven't heard from her. And my person that had me was my friend Rob. So when I saw that my package came and it was from him, and I was like, I'm opening it because I knew I couldn't be part of the Zoom group right before Christmas because I was at the beach. So he sent me this beautiful, beautiful purple. It's like an electric violet color of his hand spun. So I was super excited about it because he's a very good spinner. And I mean, he just does so good. It looks like it's commercially spun because he does so well. I wonder how he knew that color would be good for me. So he said he didn't keep the label of what the fiber content was, but he knows it's non-superwash. I'm thinking by the feel of it and stuff that it's probably BFL, which feels very, very nice. So I finished this yesterday, and it's still a little bit damp. and I haven't cut the yarn because I want to make sure it fits before I cut it. I did make look how striped it looks in the camera. That's very subtle in real life, but this is the bandana cowl by Pearl Soho. So I made it again because I do like that style, that kind of bandana style. And so I did a wraps per inch on this, and it came out to be about an Aran weight. And so that's what the pattern calls for. Use the recommended needle size, and I just went for it. And so I knit this over my Christmas break, and it's just lovely. But like I said, it's still slightly damp, but I think I can put it on to see what this looks like. Oop. Without pulling the yarn out. Oh yeah, I think that's going to be great. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this, you guys. That's awesome. So thank you, Rob. It's gorgeous yarn. I was really hoping to use all of it, and now I have some left over because I will cut this now. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I'm hanging on to it. It's so nice. Oh, look at that. I will definitely wear this. I can't wear it right now because it's still damp. It's taking a long time to dry. I've been having it laid out to dry since yesterday, and it's still damp. So that is my Secret Santa skein from my friend Rob, and I've already knit it into a project. Pretty proud of myself for that. Something that I tried to do prior to Christmas, and it's something that I kind of mentioned on my last episode of doing with my mini skein advent that my friend Michelle gave me. So in the past, I've crocheted squares with it to put in a blanket, and this year for some reason I just wanted to do something different. So I follow all the yarn on Instagram, and she has a YouTube channel I will link down below, and she's been showing these squares that she's doing on a Zoom loom. So it is a pin loom. I've never done this before, and when I've told people, they're like, oh yeah, I remember my kids did it, at summer camp or whatever. I never did it. So I figure if it's a kid thing, it should be super easy. It was a bit of a challenge, I have to say. I was practicing it for like the week before we left on vacation, thinking I'll just bring all my minis and I'll just sit there and I'll just loom away, make my little squares. So what, oh God, what's her name? Lindsay, I think. She's turned hers into a blanket, and then this year she put her squares together and made pillows, and they're just beautiful. And I thought, well, this is going to be great because it's portable and, kind of a take-along type of project I could work on. But I struggled so hard. So what I'm doing is I'm using 2 strands of fingering weight yarn, and I would get about this far, and then something would screw up, and I can't take that out. So I tried again. I'm like, well, I got a little bit further. That's like, nope, not going to work. And then I got pretty much, I thought, oh, I have a successful thing, but I missed something because I shouldn't have that. So I'm like, okay, this is not happening before break because I'm just not getting it. So yesterday I sat down. So I put it in I have this vintage like train case that I found at like a garage sale, thrift shop, something like that years ago. And I thought it's a good way to use it for this pin loom because this is it. And you've got these little pins that are sticking up. And if I just stick it in a bag, I'm afraid it's going to snag up yarn or poke through, whatever. So I thought that works pretty good. So you get this little pin loom. It's like a 4-inch pin loom. You get the instruction booklet. There's also a video on YouTube. You get, where's my needle? So you get this like 6-inch needle. I don't know if you can see that. That goes so that you can weave across, and it's like the size of going across. And then it comes with a couple extra pins and then like a tapestry needle to weave in your ends. So I followed the directions, and basically it is like pictures like this, like of how to weave the yarn to get it started. And I was just really, really struggling because, it took quite a while for me to understand how the weaving was going, and I felt like I was getting that down pretty good. At first I was weaving it too tight, so that when you're going across and you're doing this, I was lifting and I would pull these yarns off of the pins because I'm like trying to get under there, and I'm like, okay, I have to loosen that up. So what I found was when I weave on the initial starting weave, your weft and warp, I guess, to do it really loose, because then when you weave your yarn through all of that, it tightens it all up. And so I was just like, I was almost ready to give up because I just felt like for some reason I'm just not getting this. And usually I can understand craft things pretty easily. And I'm like, why is this so hard? People say their kids did it and I can't seem to do it. And then for some reason it clicked. And so yesterday I made a whole bunch of squares. So at first I thought, so I started off with this, and this was just some leftovers that I had double stranded. And I thought maybe what I need to do is 2 different colors, because when you're weaving, I got to make sure I'm picking up both strands, and maybe I'm missing that or something. So let me try 2 different colors. So I grabbed these 2 colors, which are leftover. This was leftover from socks I just made, and this was leftover from a shawl from years ago or something. And I made a couple squares with it. And I'm like, okay, that worked. And I think that helped me. This may be a boo-boo here, but we're going to leave it. I think it helped me not understand, but see what I was doing easier. So that was like, okay, I've got success. So now I'm going to start dipping into some of the yarn that Michelle gave me. And so I got this one, which I think was probably a self-striping skein. So holding the yarn double, she winds them up really nicely for me. So I'm able to pull from the inside and the outside and have double strands. So that one was fun. She's giving me 10-gram minis, and I was able to get 3 of these out of 1 ball, and it used up every bit of the yarn. So I was able to get 3, and I was like, oh, that's pretty good. If I can get 3 from every skein that she gives me, that's doing pretty good. And these were just gorgeous. Love the way they're turning out. And then this skein, something funky on that corner. There's a little bit of funky, but I think when I connect them together, the funky is going to get hidden. So this skein turned out really cool. It went from like lights and darks, same skein, double stranded. So I think that looks really neat. And so then I couldn't get a third one. I was just short. So what you do is, it says it takes about 8 yards to make a square. So you do all your weaving, and then once you get it all woven through, you wrap it around 5 times, and that gives you the length you need to weave it, and then still have a little bit of room at the end to weave in your end. So it's like all measured out, and I was able to weave it, and I only got around 3 times. So that lack of 2 rounds wasn't going to allow me to do a third one of this, but I can single strand it. I have enough to use a single strand with another yarn. Like maybe I'll do, so here's what I have left. I think that's it. And then, I can put it with something like that. And then this will work because I have enough. I believe I have enough to do double strand with something else. So that one, and then I did this one this morning. So they're pretty much the same on both sides. And you can tell I'm getting a little better each time I do it. And so last night I got all those other ones done. Jim's like, you got another one done? I said, I know, it's taken me a week to figure this out, but now I feel like I got it. And I want to just keep trying different combinations, because what I think was cool was combining these 2. And I'm going to just make squares, even not just keeping it to my Advent. I'm going to also make stuff from, like, I deal a lot with fingering weight yarn. So I have a lot of leftovers from whatever project. You've got like a little bit left over. And so if I have just like, say 5 grams, it should be enough to hold with something else. I didn't weigh this, but a 10-gram made well, I guess it depends on the yardage, but I was able to get 3. So it's taking, 3.5 to 4 grams per strand. So if I have, say, 5 grams, I know I've got plenty, and hold something with something else, and just, like I could make a crap ton with all of this. So my goal is to be able to sew them together to make a fabric. What I make with that, I'm not really sure, because I kind of had an idea last night of making like a kind of a lightweight jacket maybe. I could just make a blanket. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But for now, I'm just going to collect all these little squares that I'm making, and something will come to me. But it's fun to do something a little bit different. And then I saw, was it yesterday, that there's a bunch of makers that not support, but host the New to You make along. It's started by the gals over at Cocktail Hour at the Coop. And the idea is, like, starting in January, you make something that you've never done before. Try a technique, try a craft, try something you've never done before. And this would have been perfect, but now I've tried it and I've done it before the New Year's. I can't use it. And I'm like, it's really hard for me to find something I haven't tried, because I've tried so many. Now, I may not stick with them all, but I at least try them. So I don't know if I'll participate this year. But it's always fun to see what people do with that. So I did start a couple of other projects knitting-wise that haven't been finished. So this is my Scrappy Angel bag. This is the Aran bag that I've added handles to. I don't ever show my bags because I don't think about it. So I've got my yarn in my little baby chip basket that he gave me when we were in Rhinebeck. So this is yarn, let me take it out. This is yarn from last Christmas, I believe, and it's a Barnyard Knits yarn. I don't remember the make of it. I know it's got like alpaca and silk and all those soft, lovely, drapey fibers. And this was her prickly pear, I think, colorway, which when you look on the website has more blue in it than this does, so it may look a little bit different. And I've been trying to figure out what to make with it, because I know it's going to be very drapey. It's not something I can use in a sweater. And I thought, I just need to hold it by itself and just make a cowl. So I asked my friends, like, give me suggestions. My friend Lucy gave me the suggestion of the Lucy says it, Aurelia? The Aurelia cowl by Hillary Smith Callis. I have made a couple of Hillary's patterns in the past. I made the Star Shower, and I've made several of the Aki cowls, and so I thought I like her style of writing. I think she makes really good patterns. It was a beautiful pattern with a little bit of lace, and so I started it. So obviously you'll be able to see all this once it's blocked, but it's got this neat texture with a little bit of lace. And if you know me from previous episodes, or just because you're my friend, I don't like lace. I don't like to have to fiddle with it, but this lace is easy. It's memorizable for me. It's a 16 stitch lace repeat, but it's really easy. So when I get to the rows that have lace, I don't have to read the chart or anything. I can just do it. And then you just have like purl rows and knit rows and stuff to do the other. So it's knit flat for quite a while, and then you join it in the round. So I'm at the point now where I'm really close to finishing. I will do, it's like this pattern but in a border. I'm not sure if I'm right there. I think I am. I think it's like next I do the border. I'm very close, and then it'll be finished. So there's still quite a bit of yarn left over. So it didn't even use a full skein, but this is going to be really, really soft, because it is very, very soft, and it'll be really pretty, and I will love to wear it. So I'm anxious to get it finished so I can block it out and see all this really open up. So Lucy was a good reference for what to make. She's made a lot of stuff, and she keeps Ravelry pages so she can look back and see what she did. I know that was going to be my goal for 2022, and I think it lasted like a couple months, and then it was just like, meh. I don't even remember to take pictures of my finished stuff. Okay, so the next one is in my big Della Q bag that I got for free from a friend whose friend bought a storage unit and had knitting stuff in it, so she gave it all to me. Talked about it before. So this is the Desperate Housewife cardigan that I bought a kit for when I was in Rhinebeck from CC's Wool. So I showed it last time. I can't show you all the colors, but I haven't quite used all the colors yet, but almost. So anyway, I started it. Thank you, Valerie, for helping me with my whole gauge situation. When I was gauging it with the recommended needle size, my row gauge was way tighter. My stitch gauge was close enough that I could fudge it, but my row gauge, it's like supposed to be 30 something rows and I was getting 40, you know, it's like was way off. So I did a gauge swatch with 3 different needles, and I ended up going up 2 needle sizes from the recommended size and got really close to the row gauge. So I feel like I'm on track. I started it, and this is where I am. So it starts, this is the back. So this first color, you did short rows to raise the back of it a little, but then it's just a 10 row stripe sequence. So I've got all these like beautiful blues, greens, even a brown. I don't think I've ever knit with brown before. And then it'll go into this like dusty pink. Okay, so I'm on this like dark blue, and then I'll go into this rose color here. And then it'll go back to the purple and just repeat the stripe sequence. So I got to a standstill. I didn't bring a tape measure with me when I went to the coast. I thought I had one in my bags and I didn't, but I think I'm close to separating for the sleeves. So I just stopped and waited till I got home. So I have to try and see if I can figure out if I'm at a good, it's gonna go like this, like I don't know how to tell whether I should go further because I don't want it to be too tight in the armpit, but it might be there. So I'm close to separating for sleeves. It does go a little bit slower because you have a lot of stitches on here and you do have to purl back, which I'm a little slower purling back. I'm faster knitting, but purling I'm a little slower, so it goes a little slow. So I did get quite a bit done, actually. I think I did pretty good. This yarn is so nice to work with. It is a sport weight yarn. It is American U Twisted Sport by CC's Wool. I have my colors here, just clipped a little bit and taped it on there so I can keep track of what's next. It's a 3-ply merino rambouillet, and let's see, 312 yards per skein, and I get 8 colors. So it was a kit that I got for this sweater, and fingers crossed it'll fit. But I'm enjoying working on it. I just love working with this yarn, so that's a treat. And that's always nice when you're not fighting your yarn and you're actually enjoying that part of it as well. So this will be a longer project just because it will. And I'm okay with that. It's what I can grab when I can't concentrate because I need to be having a conversation or something. So it's good. As you can still see, I still have my knitting machines out. I was still making some things. I still have a few charity hats to make that I have yarn for. I did notice that Joann's is having a sale on all their yarn. Joann's is about 40 minutes away from here, so it's not like a quick trip. So I thought about popping over there and shopping. I just don't know that I want to go over there. But I wanted to get some more so I can make some more charity hats because I've been really enjoying playing on that again. So yeah, and I need to get some sock tubes done so I can have those. And then that's kind of what I'm doing, what I'm working on. So I guess that's about it. I hope you have a wonderful New Year's celebration if you celebrate. I'm going to be doing bingo with the Fiber Hustle on New Year's or New Year's Eve. So that will be fun, a little pajama party. And then generally we don't stay up. We don't usually stay up till midnight. We'll like watch something on TV from something that's happening like on the East Coast and be like, okay, we saw it. It's New Year's. And we'll go to bed. And then everybody starts like blowing crap up. It's like the fireworks and shooting guns, whatever. They're making all kinds of rackets. We end up waking up anyway. Hopefully this year won't be that bad. But yeah, otherwise we stay home. I don't want to be out on the roads or anything. But if you do go somewhere, please be safe. Don't drink and drive. Use an Uber, taxi, whatever you can, or just stay home. So hopefully next year will be a great one for you. Let's start it off with a positive attitude, and hopefully that will carry through the next year. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. I will see you next year. Bye.